Try to keep it at 25 minutes, like I said, and we'll take questions after, okay? So thanks for coming. Why do we do this stuff? Why do I do this stuff? This is why I do it. So that's me like a couple years ago when I realized that I had to start making like a massive change in my life. So I didn't always have like, I didn't always eat properly. I didn't always exercise properly. I didn't have like, even though I told people what they should be doing, I didn't always follow that. You know, I didn't walk the walk. Kind of like a plumber with a leaky faucet type thing. So that is when, that's what I looked like after I started transforming. Most of my life I was athletic, but I never really took anything seriously. So what you saw before, this is what happened. So I was actually treating somebody, and my body was so weak, not just physically, but I was tired, I was stressed, I wasn't eating properly. I actually collapsed after an injury. I got so injured, my neck hurt, and I hit the ground. And I broke my fall with my face, and that was it. I said enough's enough. Okay, so I'm not showing you that to show off, just so you know. I'm showing you that because it took something drastic for me to actually realize that I need to make a change. For some people it's heart attacks, for some people it's cancer, for some people it's something else. For me, it was an injury to my face. Okay? So why do we talk about food? Why is it so important? But food is fuel, right? A lot of us aren't really taught that. We're kind of taught from a young age that food is just something that's supposed to be pleasurable and whatever. You go to kids' birthday parties and all you see are like gummy worms and suckers and cake and like just junk, right? And people think that's funny and it's cute. It's not funny. It's literally making people sick. And when you start teaching kids that from this young, you know, however small they are, they grow up thinking that that's okay. And so they start doing that all day long, every single day, thinking it's no big deal. And when you start telling people, well, I can't do that, I can't drink that, I can't eat that, you're almost looked at like, oh, you're a health nut, you're crazy, you're weird, right? You're that guy. So it's just a weird society that we kind of live in. But a lot of times now with the disease that we have, the obesity rates and everything, people say, well, it's genetic. Your mom was big, it's not your fault. So our genes have not changed in 40,000 years, just so you guys know, okay? Be aware of that. So we didn't have these issues even 100 years ago. So it's not genetic, okay? So that's crushed. These are some of the stats for obesity in the U.S. 24 million children between 2 and 19 are overweight, 154 million adults. That's the cost, blah, 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 okay? This stuff isn't really all that important. What's important is the lifestyle that we live in this country is absolutely killing people, not just with cancer and heart disease, but depression and anxiety and sleep disorders and digestive disorders, and it's never ending. So the definition of a toxin is something that can make you sick. So food can be toxic because food's already proven to cause heart disease and high blood pressure and all these top 5 killers that we talk about. This is well known that if you have a deficiency in certain things in your body that you will get disease. Rickets softens your bones. Vitamin C will cause your arteries to just literally fall apart and causes bleeding gums and scurvy. Lack of protein causes a whole ton of problems, etc. So this is where a lot of the stuff actually starts. Everybody's heard that cholesterol is bad for you, right? It's not true. Cholesterol is not bad for you, but a lot of that, it just comes from old research. So 100 years ago, this guy, Ansel Keys, he was a scientist. He started studying all these different countries that had high-fat diets. He deliberately left out most of the countries based on statistics, and you can see that like 2/3 of all these studies were actually neglected just because of the reactions that they were having to the drugs, like the actual statin drugs. So statin drugs in general will probably be taken off the market within the next, who knows, 10, 15, 20 years because there's a ton of side effects that people are experiencing from them. And then this other guy here, Anichkov, he was a Russian scientist that was studying rabbits. People that have heard me speak before have probably heard me talk about this, but he was injecting rabbits with cholesterol and they were dying from heart disease and thyroid failure. The problem with that is that rabbits are not genetically equipped to break down fat because they're vegans. Okay, so that's the problem with the study, and that's where all this stuff started, that fat is bad for you. But when you do that same study and you inject it into dogs or wolves or any other animal that's equipped to break down fat, there's no heart disease. So we are going to get into a few things here. Drugs, medication, proven to cause tons of different deficiencies in your body. which will lead to sickness. Nutritional deficiencies. This is a big one, the statin that we just talked about. That's the cholesterol lowering drug. It lowers CoQ10 in your body. CoQ10 is something that really helps fuel your cells. It gives you energy. It just literally boosts your metabolism. So if you're on a statin, it's very normal for people to feel completely exhausted. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that can come from that too. But let's see, contraceptives for women, deficient in B vitamins, and a whole other list of things. Steroids, awful for mineral deposits. That's why a lot of people that are on steroids for a long period of time start getting osteoporosis. Aspirin even, vitamin C, folic acid, which is a B vitamin, iron, potassium. So it's, you know, I could show you guys all these different stats. What's important to know is that the way you're living, the way everybody is living, essentially, is not the right way to live. Saturated fats. Who thinks it's bad for you? 1, 2, 3. Most people probably.
Depends on the type.
Yeah, well, saturated fat is not bad for you. Saturated fat is essential for a lot of different functions in your body. You can see immune system, it's antibacterial, very important for your nervous system, your bones. It's actually more important than calcium for bone health. So if you're eating saturated fat, which comes mainly in animal products, it's an animal fat, that stuff will actually incorporate minerals into your bone and harden your bones more than just taking a calcium pill will. Okay? So we talked about how fat already got a bad rap from bad science. Okay, so now let's just try to keep that in your mind that saturated fats are actually healthy for you. Trans fats, that's the bad one. Okay, a trans fat is actually from a vegetable fat, and a vegetable fat, when you heat it up, look at this is the. Let me show you the chemistry of this here. This is the difference between trans fats and non-trans fats, which is nothing. Anybody good with chemistry? Not okay. So look, see this little guy here? This is a double bond between 2 carbon atoms, and there's no double bond here. So these things look the same, right? So that's a saturated fat. This is an unsaturated fat. This is the only difference. But when you heat this up, actually when you heat this up, you create this part here, which is the trans fat. So you shift the structure of the molecule, and that's the only difference between the two. But this will kill you. This will not kill you. This is like eating olive oil. Okay, and this is what happens when you heat up olive oil and you create trans fat, hardens your arteries, causes heart disease. Okay, anytime you're using oils or fats, butter, that kind of stuff, you don't want to let it be exposed to oxygen or heat or light. So if you are one of those people like myself that keep butter in the cupboard, I don't know if that's like I don't think people.
I keep mine on the counter.
You do?
Yeah.
People in Texas do that? I think it's Florida. Everybody fires in the fridge. I think it's weird to put in the cupboard. But, yeah, so keep a lid on top of it. Or at least, you know, close the door so it's not being exposed to light. And same thing with olive oil. If you cook with olive oil, don't use just don't let it be exposed to air, because air could actually, just air alone could create trans fats with olive oil. You should never cook with oils, like unsaturated oils rather. You can cook with butter, you can cook with coconut oil, you can cook with peanut oil. Those really are the 3 things that you should cook with, and that's it. Olive oil, great for salads, but don't cook with them. Cholesterol, so very healthy, like I mentioned. It's your cells. You guys ever looked at like the just the structure of a cell before? I'm gonna draw it here, just for fun, so you guys can see what a cell actually looks like. So it's just like a circle with a bunch of stuff on the inside, okay? But this is where health starts. If you have bad cells, you have bad tissues and bad organs, etc. But when you look really closely right here, there's this, it's a fat membrane. So it looks like this. These are all fats. And these fats surround this entire membrane. That's what protects the cells. That's what protects your DNA. And DNA damage is really what causes cancer and everything like that. So if you have good fats that are surrounding this cell, it's going to protect everything. If you don't have good fats in your diet, lack of protection, increased risk for disease. Cool. So cholesterol is used, hormones, vitamin D, bile salts to break down fat, serotonin, all these neurotransmitters in your brain. Whole point I'm trying to get is that cholesterol is healthy. Cholesterol is not the enemy, like you've been told. Cholesterol shows up when there's a lot of stress in your body and your body's breaking down from the inside out. So cholesterol will start to stick to the walls of your arteries to actually help heal the scarring that's taking place when you have heart disease. And in the process, if you don't get rid of like the stressor that's breaking down the body, cholesterol keeps sticking and it might end up clogging the artery. So it causes, a heart attack or something, and they just kind of point the finger and say, "Oh, cholesterol did the job. It's all its fault." But it's not. It's like blaming a fire department for not putting out a fire, and then the house burns down, which would be crazy. Essential fatty acids. So the term essential means you have to get it from your diet. If you don't get it from your diet, you'll become deficient. And you guys already saw all the stuff that could happen when you develop deficiencies. So you have to get good fats in your diet. Essential fatty acids are mainly fish oil. George gets enough of that in his diet, so he doesn't have to worry about taking any kind of supplements. But if you just eat fish, good quality fish, especially if you catch it yourself, awesome. Tons of good quality oils in there, good quality fats. Okay? But look at all the stuff that you can get just from deficiencies from fats. Heart disease, brain disorders, depression, hypertension, arthritis even. That's why you can use omega-3s as anti-inflammatories. You can use them to even treat heart disease. Like as a medication, it's that powerful for some people that have heart disease. This is, it might be a little complicated, but I'm going to try to explain this. So your body, this cell right here, okay, it's designed to have a ratio of 3 omegas, 3 6s and 9s, a ratio of 1 to 1 to 1, so like an even amount. But in the American diet, because we consume so many grains, it gets completely disrupted. Usually there's like a 25 omega-6s and 9s to 1 omega-3. And omega-6s and 9s are proven to cause a ton of inflammation in your body, leading to cancer, stroke, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, etc. Okay? So grains can be completely inflammatory for you. If you're somebody that has aches or pains, avoid them at all costs. Corn is a grain. It's not a vegetable. So don't eat corn. You can have it once in a while if you really like corn, that's your thing. But don't make it like a staple in your diet. And same thing, like huge difference with organic beef if it's grass-fed versus if it's fed corn its entire life. So corn-fed beef, right? So they're eating grains, so they're going to have more omega-6s and 9s in their tissue, and then we consume it, so ours go up. So there's a big difference. Yeah, if you find corn everywhere, high fructose corn syrup. You guys have heard about this, right? So it is a sugar. There's some commercials where they say it's not sugar. It is a sugar. There's lots of different types of sugar. Fructose is one type, glucose is another. High fructose corn syrup has a high concentration of fructose. And fructose is actually known to really disrupt your insulin levels a lot, but you also get high amounts of fructose in tropical fruits like pineapple and mangoes and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's if you want to stay away from fructose, you have to know that it's more than just corn. Okay, fructose is all over the place, but it's used a lot mainly because, well, you guys know, I mean, there's corn everywhere here, so they use corn because it's cheap, it grows really quick, the yield's great, so they use corn sugar for that reason. It's just to save more money. Okay, but definitely, like I mentioned, this here has a bigger effect on insulin levels, so higher risk for causing a lot of diabetes, excess weight, fatigue, depression, bloating, fun stuff. So look at this. That's the difference between one mouse that's eating fructose and one mouse that's not eating fructose. Cute, right? Poor guy. But same calorie intake. That's the important part of the study, actually. They're eating the exact same amount of calories, but one's consuming fructose in the diet and one's not. And that's the difference. It's not always about the calorie. It's the type of food that you're eating. Oh yeah, this is fun. How much the average American eat in 2011? How much sugar? We used to eat, like, I think it was 150 years ago, the average person consumed like 4 or 5 pounds of sugar a year. I have to do this, make it dramatic. 156 pounds of sugar in 1 year. Isn't that amazing? There's the chart of the consumption of sugar. That's my puppy. See? Eating fruits and vegetables and... Yeah, I gave her mushrooms and blueberries the other day.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's
She's a chihuahua. But, so, I'm just going to talk about a couple Superfoods, one is broccoli. Broccoli is amazing. So this thing right here, I actually have supplements on the shelf for sulforaphane. This is one of the most powerful cancer fighters out there, and you can get it just by eating broccoli. Preferably eat organic broccoli, of course. But yeah, great for pumping up your liver to detox your body, high in vitamin C. This has more vitamin C than oranges do, just so you know. So when you're feeling sick, a lot of people tend to go for oranges and stuff. Go for broccoli. And don't steam it and cover it with Cheese Whiz. Eat it raw. Okay. And just some other things, like really great chemicals that are found in broccoli. Like I said, anti-cancer, great for immune function, antiviral, antifungal, great stuff. Grapefruit. Do you know grapefruit is actually so powerful that it interacts with medication that people are taking? So they tell you, if you're taking this pill, don't eat grapefruit. It's like, well, why not? Well, because it's going to interfere with the drug. So why don't you just eat grapefruit then? I mean, if it's going to have that kind of effect on your body. But same thing with Coumadin, right? A blood thinner. So Coumadin is from green leaves. You can get like the smell of fresh cut grass. There's Coumadin in there that you're smelling. It's called coumarin, actually, the natural source. But coumarin from green leaves is known to thin blood, just like Coumadin, the drug, does. So that's why they tell you, if you're taking Coumadin, don't eat salad. But of course, my brain just goes, well, why don't I just eat salad if it's, instead of taking a pill?
Doesn't matter which kind of grapefruit, white or red.
I'm crazy. What's that?
Does white or red grapefruit matter?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I hate grapefruit.
I think the white is stronger than the red.
I'm actually not sure on that. But lots of fiber. So that's the difference between like grapefruit, eating a grapefruit and having like grapefruit juice, or same thing with oranges or orange juice. The difference is all the pulp that you get from the actual fruit is fiber. Fiber keeps your blood sugar down, keeps your insulin levels down, prevents weight gain. But then more importantly, you have all these other phenomenal, cancer fighters and stuff that are found in grapefruit. Like look at this, it binds the cancer-causing chemicals in the colon, just for that. So we could talk about all these different things. Teas are great, especially green tea. There is caffeine in green tea, just so you guys know. A lot of people don't know that. But make sure if you do have tea, especially green tea, make sure it's green. Green tea should not be brown. Okay, so if you put a tea bag in water and it turns brown, the oxygen is completely eating it up. There's no benefit to it. Okay. So now a little bit about Take Shape for Life. So we can, I've said this multiple times to a lot of you, but like there's multiple ways you can lose weight. It just depends what you want to do. The good thing with this program is that it's consistent, it's predictable. You don't have to worry about measuring anything. You know when to eat. It gets shipped directly to your door. There's auto ships. So like the program itself is phenomenal. Everybody who does this gets results. So this is the guy who developed it. He's a medical doctor, and the reason why he started doing this was he was just your normal medical doctor giving out pills to his patients, and he noticed that he just wasn't getting great results. He got into medicine to help people, and people were just not responding to his care. So he said there has to be a better way. He started this program in like 1980, I think it was, and started seeing his patients get off medication, improving their health, all that other stuff. And this program has grown a ton since then. But this is what the program is all about. It's really it's a multi-faceted where it really starts addressing everything in your life, not just weight loss. Weight loss is the first step to Take Shape for Life. You get to your goal weight, but then you also have to know that sleeping is important, exercising is important, managing stress is important, all that other stuff. And if you're not doing it, just losing weight is not enough. Healthy body. How much do you guys think you have to move, like exercise, let's say, in a day? Like what's normal?
Probably about an hour.
What's on the pyramid? How about that? What does the government recommend? 30 minutes a day? Usually it's like 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week or something. But you should exercise every day, even if it's whatever it is. I mean, I try to exercise at least an hour a day, and then I do it whenever I can. If you can't find time, you have to fit it in somewhere. Yeah, you have to make time.
I walk 5 to 6 miles a day at work.
Uh-huh.
So my body is used to that, so I need to walk more.
So it's the same thing with what I do. I hear a lot of people say, well, you probably don't have to exercise at all because I'm like bending to it, I'm doing all this stuff with people. And I do. I exercise every single day. If I didn't, it would be way harder for me to do my job. So I don't think, I mean, I know that like it's good if you have a job that keeps you physically active. That's awesome. I still think you have to get away from like, I think it's more of a mental thing than anything.
But I mean, if your body's used to that, then you still have to do more.
If your body's used to anything, it's not considered exercise, right? So if I'm used to running a mile
Right.
a day, it's not exercise to me anymore because it doesn't require a higher physical demand. And that's what exercise is. It's like really trying to push yourself to the next level. And it's good for everything. It's not just muscles, but exercise is proven to be great for your nervous system, decrease depression, make you sleep better, gets rid of anxiety, helps with digestive disorders. So it's really stimulating your body in ways that you don't know. We have here eating motion, sleep stress, which we talked about. So these guys aren't my patients. They're actually my health coach's patients. But this guy lost, 60 pounds. This guy lost 130. And you've seen before and afters. I don't know if it's impressive or not, but this program's simple. It's a 5 MetaFast item plus 1 regular meal. So you do any 5 items, and then after that, you just do a lean and green meal, which is 5 to 7 ounces of meat, and then 3 servings of vegetables, which is just a few cups. And you can split that up at noon and dinner if you want to do that. But Loretta, can you just say, is it easy?
It is.
It's not bad, right? Everybody thinks it's going to be like so hard. Everybody thinks it's going to be really difficult when they start, but it's really not that bad. You might be hungry for the first couple days, and most of the stuff that that they offer tastes pretty good. Some of it's not. Yeah. You have to know what you're getting into if you do this program. You know what I mean? It's not. You're not eating at like the Cordon Bleu restaurant here. I mean, it's a weight loss program first, and then as you start getting closer to your goal, you start transitioning. This is what people transition to if they want. They do a 3+3. Okay, but we can talk about that if you guys ever get more interested. So look at that. 23 minutes. Okay. There's a lot with nutrition and weight loss. There's a lot of stuff, but there's definitely a science to it, and really it comes down to insulin levels. I'm gonna draw this for you guys real quick too. Does everybody know what insulin is? It comes from your pancreas. It's a hormone that maintains your blood sugar. Okay, so let's say I drink Pepsi, a lot of sugar in Pepsi, right? My insulin instantly says, "Whoa, blood sugar, calm down." So it grabs onto it and keeps it down, so I don't go into shock, basically. Okay, so if let's look at this. If I'm going to draw a graph, I'm going to draw a graph of insulin, which will be blue. And then we'll draw stress hormone in red. And we'll draw blood sugar in green. So when I eat at, let's say, 5 p.m. here, when you eat, what happens to your blood sugar? Goes up, right? So my blood sugar is going to go up. And then when I start getting tired and I start getting sleepy, what happens to my blood sugar? Goes down until I get ready to eat again. So let's say this is like, 7 a.m. So same thing. Insulin pretty much follows blood sugar. Okay? Keeps it down. If I drink Pepsi at 7 a.m., spike. Insulin, spike. Whenever you get these spikes right here, let's point a big arrow. This leads to fat storage every single time. It has nothing to do with calories. It only has to do with this. That spike. You saw the 2 mice? Same calories, different sugars, which created different insulin patterns. Okay? So spikes will cause fat storage. Refined food, like whether it's bread or noodles, pure sugar, will always cause that. That's the problem with refined food. And it has nothing, you can see a lot of stuff when you buy like a loaf of bread. Oh, only 20 calories per slice or whatever. Trap. Don't buy into it. Okay? The other thing with this is some people say, well, I don't know why I'm overweight. I hardly eat. Who's one of those people in here? I hardly eat. So if you eat at dinner, most people that hardly eat usually binge, okay? Because they haven't eaten all day, so they're starving, so they just eat so much at the end of the day. But same thing happens here. But what happens in the morning, when your blood sugar hits a base, your stress hormone, let's do this here, your stress hormone starts to climb. Now stress hormone doesn't just make you feel stressed in your mind, but it's actually very destructive for your body, for your organs, everything in your body. So if you're not eating, your stress hormone goes up to maintain the blood sugar, so you don't go into shock again. And then it'll only ever go down when you eat. So, does this make sense? A little bit? Okay. So that's why it's really important to eat breakfast in the morning. Even if you have a banana, have something to keep your stress hormone down. Even stress hormone is known to promote more fat storage, right? So it's a big deal. Eat something, preferably something that like is you know, more of like a complex food. Like you could do eggs, you could even do bacon in the morning. You're better off eating eggs and bacon than having like Fruit Loops or nothing. Maybe even oatmeal. Oatmeal is good, but when you break it down a lot, when you heat it up, it becomes very refined, and you get the spike with oatmeal. Yeah, so try to not cook oatmeal that much if you're going to eat it. You're better off. Okay, so I spoke a lot. I hope I got through to you guys with some of this stuff. Questions?
Okay, so you recommended this program. Would you comment on why this program would be different or better than the other 10 that are out there on TV? And
It's
this lady's, this nurse, what's her name? Yeah, there was a nurse.
No,
Places
Seattle
on-
Seattle Sudden.
It
Yeah,
works. I
Seattle
did it
Sudden.
before.
So all those
Yeah.
programs work.
20 in
They
the
do.
month.
They all work. You have to follow them. I think the great thing with this program is the book at the front. You guys see Dr. A's Habits of Health? That's why I love this program, because it talks about all these different aspects of health. It talks about sleep. It talks about managing stress and all that other stuff. Most of the programs don't do that. And that's why I chose this. I used to do Ideal Protein before. Ideal Protein's good too. It's a very similar product, but it doesn't come with really the lifestyle focus like Take Shape for Life does. So this program is not called MediFast. This program is called Take Shape for Life. It uses MediFast in the weight loss program. But I use this because before I started doing this, when I wasn't doing any like weight loss program, I was just teaching people about nutrition, and nobody was ever listening to me. Nobody. And I knew people had to lose weight. I knew it because I was adjusting them, you know, and they were getting better, and then they would get worse. And I would just tell them like, hey, maybe your weight's having something to do with this whole issue that you can't hold your adjustments. But people still would say, yeah, I know, probably, but, and they would never change their diet. But I wasn't meeting them on their level. I was kind of like talking down to them, like, this is what you should do, and not like, what do you want to do? What are you willing to do? So this has allowed me to help more people because it makes it easier for people to follow. And then once you actually lose the weight, you get closer to your goal. It's a whole lot easier to say, yeah, I think I'll start doing organic. I think I'll start doing grass-fed beef and all that stuff, because you can relate to it more. If you're completely on the opposite side of the spectrum and I tell you to eat grass-fed, organic, pasture-raised, free range, you think I'm nuts, because I'm one of those people.
Do you eat 5 times a day now?
Do I eat 5 times a day? No.
I think
So-
that makes a difference.
Yeah.
eating the
Twice,
five-
but I don't obviously do it right.
That makes the difference eating the 5 times a day, because every time you eat, you're feeling full, and you're following this food, so you feel full, and you're not overeating. Then when you do have your meal, your one meal, you're not overeating.
Uh-huh.
And if you stick with your meat,
Stand up there by him.
Yeah.
well,
I'm
I'm
just teasing.
saying because I'm on the diet, so I did lose some weight, so I'm just explaining it.
In my experience, I don't know about men, but for me, when you're trying to diet, you're thinking about eating all the time because it's right here. And the cool thing about this, I can say, is okay, yeah, it's been 2 hours, 2.5. I can eat something.
Mhm.
You go get your bar, instead of when you're on these other diets, you're like, oh crap, I can't eat for, I just ate, but you went and exercised or something and you're hungry, but
The other thing too is like this is not permanent. This is just a boost. It's motivation to actually get to your goal, whatever it is. But then in the process, like it's pretty cool seeing how like Neil is great. I always talk about Neil. Neil's like the rock star of this program. He's like down almost 100 pounds. He's close in like 6 months. But when Neil walked in, he didn't walk in for weight loss. He walked in with like tons of pain everywhere in his body, head to toe. He was 349 pounds, and just wasn't happy. Was just like hated life. Didn't really want to do anything. And now you should see him. It's amazing. Like he walks in, he's happy. He wants to travel now. He's off like high blood pressure medication. He's off insulin. He's saving thousands of dollars, no exaggeration, on medication. And his whole life is just completely changed now just because of this. And he was on the fence, and I told him, like, just try it for a week, and he lost 14 pounds the first week. He holds the record for that. But more importantly, Neil actually sees the light now. It's like, wow, this is what I was doing that was making myself sick. I'm not doing that anymore. So he's actually telling like everybody around him, like, you shouldn't be eating that. That's going to kill you. That's bad for you. It's going to cause heart disease. It's going to cause cancer. But he was doing that his entire life. He's like 60 years old now. You know, and literally, he said he was like that since he was a kid. That's how he was taught. That's what he did. Just normal. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Other questions? No?
What kinds of, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about, like, how much it costs to start this program?
It's $20 a box, but usually it costs, if you're gonna do like 5 to 6 weeks, it's around, I think it's $358 if you buy the 2 books with it, which I always recommend because those books are like the Bible of the program, and you can keep those forever. But it ends up being like, I think it's $60 a week, like $58 a week if you do it for 6 weeks or so, and it's really cheaper than food. The other thing that Neil says is he's actually saving money doing the program because you can't buy junk food. It's real easy to go to Burkott's, buy a few bags of chips and whatever and spend $25 or whatever. So Neil says he's saving money doing this program and he's getting healthier doing it. So yeah, $60 a week, right around there.
And how the stuff is shipped
Directly to your
to
door.
your house.
Directly to your door, yeah.
My question is about, you said about the grapefruit, and you know how you take medicine and you can't eat, because I do that now.
Mhm.
And so, when I get off that medicine, I can eat grapefruit.
Correct.
Because when everybody else was drinking beer, I was drinking grapefruit juice, because I like it. So it'd be better for me to drink the grapefruit juice.
Well, don't get,
Better off eating the grapefruit.
you're better off eating the grapefruit for sure.
Well, I eat that too. But
Yeah.
I hardly ever drink
If you're
juice
taking
anymore.
if you're taking the medication though, you should not be eating grapefruit.
I don't.
Period.
I don't even drink,
Yeah.
eat or drink anything that says grapefruit flavor on it.
Mhm.
That's just for cholesterol medicine or
It interferes with a whole list of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
blood thinner, the cumin.
A lot of
Yeah,
things.
Yeah,
Thyroid too.
yeah. Can't have grapefruit. Me too.
The other thing I didn't mention, I'll incorporate a little bit of chiro with this, but in your spine, right, all the nerves exit and they go to your organs. So a lot of people that have issues with subluxation, which is the joint that's displaced, putting pressure on the nerve. The nerves go to the thyroid, the nerves go to the adrenal glands, the nerves go to every single organ in your body. So a lot of people that actually start getting adjusted will get an increase in their metabolism even. So you won't lose like 20 pounds getting adjusted or anything, but I've had people lose like 3-4 pounds just on turning their nervous system on and getting their spine healthier. So that that's part of the program too, which you're all doing anyway. Anything else? No. You'll think of something. You know where I am every day, and I think you guys have my email. If you don't, there's Facebook, there's texting, there's 1,000 other forms of communication nowadays.